Taijun was not special among humans. He worked as a maintenance engineer on the International Space Station Harmony, just one of many humans keeping the big space platform working. His days were full of fixing air systems, checking sensors, and sometimes looking at Earth from the big windows. Nothing about him suggested he would become important in space history. The space station was very big. It had many sections where different crews worked. Taijun liked his job, even though it was sometimes boring. He had been on the station for 3 years now and knew every pipe and wire in his section. His friends said he was very patient, even when things broke down again and again. One day everything changed. It was a normal Tuesday by station time. Taijun was checking the water recycling system. When Commander Jiwoo called all crew to the main hall, her voice sounded different than usual. There was something happening. Taijun arrived at the main hall and saw everyone looking at the big screen it showed. 3 strange ships near the station. They were not human ships. They were smooth and blue and moved in ways that seemed impossible. Commander Jiwoo stood in front, looking very serious. "The ships are trying to talk to us," she said. "They are sending signals. Our computers are trying to understand them. This is first contact, people. This is history." Everyone was quiet as the computer worked. Suddenly strange sounds filled the room. Music and clicks and sounds. No human could make the translation. Computer showed words on the screen. "We come in peace. We wish to meet humans. We have gifts and knowledge." Commander Jiwoo looked at her crew and made a decision. "We will let them come aboard," she said. "Follow first contact rules. Be polite, be careful, and record everything." The aliens came through the airlock 2 hours later. They were tall with skin like fish scales that changed colors as they moved. They had 4 arms and big eyes that blinked sideways. They wore no clothes but had many small devices hanging from belts around their waists. "My name is Soljin," said the first alien through a small machine that made its singing voice into words. "We are the Nari. We have watched your world for many years now. You are ready to join Space Society." The next days were very busy. Humans and Nari talked about many things, sharing information about their worlds. The Nari told them about many other aliens in space and a big group called the Galactic Consortium that made rules for everyone. They seemed friendly and offered to teach humans new technology. Taijun was chosen to work with the Nari because he knew the station systems best. He was asked to show them how humans lived in space. He met 2 Nari engineers named Hyun and Dawan. They were curious about everything, asking many questions about how things worked. Hyun was especially interested in human tools. "Why do you use such simple tools?" he asked, "when we could give you better ones?" Taijun smiled and showed him how human tools were made to work in space with gloves and in no gravity. Hyun seemed impressed. Dawan liked the food systems and asked many questions about what humans eat and how they grow plants in space. Taijun showed him the small garden where they grew fresh vegetables. Dawan took many pictures with a small device for 2 weeks. Things went well. The Nari shared some simple technology, and humans showed them Earth culture. They watched movies together, and the Nari seemed to enjoy human music, saying it was like their language. Humans learned that the Nari came from a water world with 2 suns, and that there were many kinds of aliens in space, some friendly and some not. Then on the 15th day, something happened. Taijun was working with Hyun and Dawan in Section 4 checking the air systems when alarms started loud and red lights flashed. Oxygen levels were dropping fast in that section. The recyclers had stopped working. "We need to fix this fast," said Taijun, going to the control panel. "This section will run out of air in 30 minutes if we don't fix it." The Nari looked nervous, their scales turning dark colors. They had never seen an emergency on the station before. Taijun worked fast, checking systems and looking for the problem, while the Nari watched. "The problem is in the main filter," said Taijun after checking the numbers. "I need the blue tool from the wall box. Can you get it?" Hyun got the tool and Taijun started working. He opened panels and checked parts while the alarm kept ringing. The air was getting thinner and Taijun started to breathe faster. He tried one fix, but it didn't work. He tried another, but the system stayed broken. Taijun wiped sweat from his face and looked at the panel again. The numbers were still bad. He needed to reset the whole system, but the computer wasn't accepting his code. He tried again and again, typing faster, but nothing worked. "Now, I'm getting annoyed," said Taijun. not really talking to anyone, just saying what he felt. He hit the panel with his hand and tried a different code. The Nari suddenly moved back, both of them stepping away quickly, their scales now bright red and blue flashing colors. They looked at each other with their big eyes wide. "The human has declared irritation," said Hyun in a whisper, talking into a small device on his belt. "We must leave now, it is not safe." Taejun didn't notice, he was too busy fixing the system. He finally found the right code, and the recyclers started working again. Oxygen levels slowly going back to normal. He smiled and turned to tell the Nari, but they were gone. That strange, thought Taejun, where did they go? He finished checking the system and then went to find them, but they were not anywhere on the station. He went to the main hall and found everyone looking worried. Commander Jiwoo was talking to someone on the big screen. It was Suljin, the Nari leader, but he was on his ship, not on the station. "We must leave now," said Suljin. "We thank you for your hospitality, but we cannot stay." "But why?" asked Commander Jiwoo. "What happened?" "One of your humans has declared the state of annoyance," said Suljin. "It is not safe for our kind. We will talk from a distance from now on. Please understand, this is our way." The screen went dark, and everyone watched as the 3 Nari ships moved away from the station, going faster and faster, until they were just points of light. "What just happened?" asked Commander Jiwoo, looking around the room. Did someone make the aliens angry? No one knew. Then Taejun remembered. "I'm sorry, Commander, I think it was me," he said. "I was fixing the air system in Section 4, and I said I was getting annoyed when it wouldn't work. The 2 Nari with me left right after that." Everyone looked at Taejun with surprise. Commander Jiwoo asked him to tell exactly what happened, and he told the whole story about the broken system and his words. "Why would they run?" "When you said you were annoyed," asked Hajin, the language expert. "That makes no sense." Taejun shook his head. "I don't know, they seemed scared, like I was going to do something bad." Commander Jiwoo tried to call the Nari ships again, but they would only talk for short times. They kept saying it was their way, and humans would understand later. They promised to send messages, but would not come back to the station. The first contact that started so well had ended strangely, all because of a few simple words. Humans did not understand why, and the Nari would not explain. Taejun kept working on the station. But now, everyone looked at him differently as the human whose words made aliens run. 3 months passed since the Nari ships left the space station. Harmony, the event became known as the Harmony Retreat, and it caused big problems for human-space relations. The Nari still talked to humans, but only through space messages. They refused to meet face-to-face again. Commander Jiwoo had many meetings with Earth leaders trying to explain what happened, but no one understood why the aliens left so suddenly. Just because Taejun said he was annoyed, the space station became famous now, and many scientists came to study what happened. Hajin was one of these scientists. She was a xenolinguist, someone who studies alien languages. She was young with short black hair and always carried many data tablets. She spent all her time trying to understand the Nari language and why they reacted so strongly to Taejun's words. Her office was small but full of screens showing alien words and sounds. Papers covered the walls and floor with notes about the Nari language. She hardly slept, always working to solve the mystery. "I think there's something special about the phrase now. I'm getting annoyed," she told Taejun one day as they sat in the station cafeteria eating lunch. "I need to know exactly what you said and how you said it." Taejun thought hard, trying to remember the exact moment. "I was working on the air system. It wasn't responding to the reset codes. I tried many times. Then I said, 'Now I'm getting annoyed,' that was all. Nothing special." Hajin typed his words into her tablet, and the screen showed Nari symbols changing colors. "Can you say it again exactly the same way?" she asked, watching her screen closely. "Now I'm getting annoyed," Taejun repeated, feeling a bit silly. The symbols on Hajin's screen flashed red and made a strange sound. Her eyes went wide. "Interesting," she said, "very interesting." For the next week, Hajin worked even harder. Hardly leaving her office, Commander Jiwoo had to order her to sleep. She tested the phrase in many alien translation programs and made an important discovery. In a meeting with all station leaders, Hajin showed her findings on the big screen. "Look at how this phrase translates," she said, pointing to the screen in 17 different alien languages. "Now, Am getting annoyed translates as I am about to unleash destruction, or I will now release my terrible power. Everyone in the room was quiet, looking at each other with surprise. Commander Jiwoo spoke first. Are you saying that when Taejun said he was annoyed, the Nari thought he was threatening to destroy them? Yes, Hajin nodded. That is exactly what I think. But why would the translation be so wrong? The Nari have good translation technology. Why would this simple phrase be so dangerous to them? They sent messages to the Nari asking about the translation, but the answers were strange and unhelpful. Historical records indicate that human irritation precedes catastrophic events. We have documented evidence that was all the Nari would say. What evidence? Taejun wondered. Humans and the Nari had just met for the first time. How could they have historical records about humans? The station crew continued their normal work. But things had changed. Other alien ships were now keeping distance from Earth, and the station only sending robot probes. Instead of coming themselves, it seemed the word had spread about dangerous, annoyed humans. Then something unexpected happened. A young Nari researcher named Doyun secretly sent a message to Hajin. The message contained an old video file with a note. This will explain why we fear the phrase. Hajin called Taejun, Commander Jiwoo, and Minji, the station historian, to her office. To see the video, they crowded around her screen as she played the file. The video was old and blurry. It showed a strange place with purple sky and 3 moons. A small spacecraft sat on rocky ground. Around it were creatures that looked like earlier versions of the Nari. Their scales were duller, and they had less advanced equipment. From the spacecraft came a person. In an old-style spacesuit, the helmet glass showed a human face. The Nari ancestors surrounded the human, making threatening moves with spears. The human raised a hand and spoke. The words were hard to hear, but Hajin turned up the volume. Now I'm getting annoyed, the ancient human said clearly. Then something amazing happened. The human pointed a small device and bright light flashed. The Nari ancestors near the human fell down. Others ran away in fear. The video ended suddenly. The 4 humans in the office stared at the screen in shock. Minji spoke first. That can't be real, she said. Humans did not have space travel to other planets 300 years ago, according to the date on the video. That's impossible. But we are seeing it. Hajin said. It's clearly a human in a spacesuit on an alien world talking to Nari ancestors. Taejun looked at the video again. The spaceship was strange, not like any design he knew. It was small and round with no visible rockets or engines. How did it fly? How did it travel between stars? Commander Jiwoo replayed the video several times, looking for clues. There's no record of humans visiting alien planets in our history, she said. This has to be fake. But why would the Nari fake this? Asked Hajin. What would they gain unless? Taejun said slowly. We are not the first humans they've met. Maybe someone reached the stars before us and we don't know about it. The idea seemed crazy, but the video was hard to explain. Minji took copies of the video to study more closely. She promised to check old records for any mention of secret space programs or missing astronauts. Over the next few days, more secret messages came from Doyun, each with more old videos showing humans on different alien worlds. In all the videos, the same thing happened. Humans said they were annoyed, then used strange devices that caused fear. Doyun finally sent a written message. The videos are from our ancient archives. They show why all species fear human annoyance in our history. When humans say they are annoyed, terrible things follow. We have studied this for many generations. Hajin worked day and night translating more Nari records. What she found was amazing. According to Nari history, humans had visited 7 alien worlds over 300 years ago. These early human explorers were few in number but had powerful technology. The records showed that human explorers would try to be peaceful at first, but when they became annoyed, they used weapons or devices beyond alien understanding. The Nari and other species came to believe that human annoyance unlocked special powers. Taejun laughed when Hajin explained this to him. They think we get superpowers when we're annoyed, he asked. That is why they ran away. It's not funny, Hajin said. They truly believe this. Their records show that for 3 centuries aliens have avoided annoying humans because they think it's dangerous. The phrase now, "I'm getting annoyed," has become a warning across the galaxy. Commander Jiwoo called an emergency meeting with Earth leaders, showing them the videos and explaining Hajin's findings. This changes everything, she said. We need to understand who these early human explorers were and how they reached other planets. Minji was given special access to old government files looking for any mention of early space travel. Her research led to sealed records from many countries, some over 200 years old. The truth was starting to emerge, and it was stranger than anyone expected. Meanwhile, Taejun found himself famous among the station crew. Everyone wanted to hear his story about making aliens run with just a few words. Some people even asked him to say the phrase as a joke. But he refused. "I don't want to be known for scaring aliens," he told Hajin. "I want to understand what really happened." The mystery was growing bigger every day. Who were these early human explorers? How did they travel to the stars? Why was there no record of them on Earth? And most importantly, what really happened when they got annoyed? The discovery of the old videos changed everything on Space Station. Harmony Earth leaders ordered a full investigation into the mystery of early human space travelers. Minji was put in charge of the history research team. They needed to know who these humans were and how they reached alien worlds centuries ago. Minji was not just any historian. She specialized in ancient technology and secret government projects. She had short hair and always wore blue clothes with many pockets full of small tools and data sticks. She was known for finding information that others could not. For 2 weeks, Minji searched through old files from many countries looking for clues about early space travel. She was given access to secret rooms with paper files that had never been put on computers. Most of the papers were yellow with age and hard to read. Taejun, Hajin, and Commander Jiwoo waited for news, as Minji worked day and night, eating little and sleeping less. Finally, she called them to a secure meeting room with no windows and special shields to block signals. "I found something," she said, her eyes red from too little sleep, her hands shaking with excitement as she laid out old papers on the table. "These are from a secret program that existed from 1760 to 1798. It was called Project Doorway." The others looked at the papers. They showed strange drawings of round ships and odd machines with parts that made no sense to modern engineers. There were also pictures of people in old-fashioned clothes, standing next to the machines. "These people built ships that could travel between stars," asked Commander Jiwoo in disbelief. "How is that possible? We only reached the moon in 1969. Minji pointed to more papers. "They didn't use rocket engines like we do. They discovered something different. Something that was later hidden from history." She showed them a drawing of a small device with many wires and crystals. They called it the fold engine. It somehow bent space to move ships instantly between stars. "But why don't we know about this?" Taejun asked. "Why was it erased from history?" Minji showed another paper with many red stamps on it in 1798. "There was an accident during a test, a whole research building, and 50 people disappeared completely after that. All governments agreed to shut down the program and hide all records. They feared the technology was too dangerous." Hajin looked through the papers, finding a list of missions. There were 15 trips to other star systems between 1770 and 1797. 7 of them mentioned contact with alien life forms. The last paper was a report about a mission to a planet with 3 moons and purple sky. "Just like in the video," Taejun said excitedly. "Yes." Minji nodded. "But there is something strange. The report says the mission was peaceful with no problems, but the video shows the human using a weapon. Maybe the report was changed," suggested Commander Jiwoo. "Maybe they hid the truth about what happened." While Minji continued her research, Hajin was given permission to contact Doyun, the young Nari researcher who sent the videos. They arranged a secret video call using special codes to hide it from other Nari. Doyun appeared on the screen, his scales shifting between green and blue colors, showing nervousness. "I risk much by talking to you," he said. "My people do not want humans to know why we fear them." "Please tell us about the videos," Hajin asked. "We need to understand." Doyun explained that the videos were kept in the sacred history vault on the Nari homeworld. They showed the first contact between Nari ancestors and strange visitors from beyond their world. The visitors were humans, but different somehow. They came in small round ships, Doyun said, appearing suddenly without warning. "At first they were peaceful, offering gifts and trying to learn our language. But when our ancestors became afraid and threatened them, the humans became annoyed. The Nari believed that human annoyance activated special powers. Doyen showed more videos of early human explorers. On different alien worlds in each video, the humans used strange devices after saying they were annoyed. The devices produced effects that seemed magical to the aliens. Some devices made things float in the air. Doyen explained others created fire, or light, or strange forces that pushed things away. Our ancestors thought the humans were using magic powers that came from their emotions. Taejun laughed. That is not magic. Those are just tools and weapons. But Doyen was serious. Our records say that humans checked a small device they carried before using their powers. We believed this device measured when enough annoyance had built up to activate their abilities. Hajin suddenly understood. He means they were checking their watches before losing. Patience, it's just a coincidence. But the aliens saw it as cause and effect. The team shared their findings with Minji, who made an amazing discovery in the old files. There was a record of special weapons given to the early explorers for protection. These weapons were designed to be used only in emergency and had special triggers. According to this file, Minji said, showing them a yellowed paper, the weapons were designed with biometric triggers that activated when the user's heart rate and stress levels increased. The designers knew that in danger the explorers would be scared or angry, so they made weapons that responded to those feelings. So when the humans got annoyed, their body changes activated their weapons, Taejun said, and the aliens thought the emotion itself caused the effect. Exactly, Minji nodded, and since these events happened centuries ago, the story spread among alien species, becoming legend. The legend says that humans have special powers triggered by annoyance. The team reported everything to Earth leaders, who then faced a difficult decision. Should they tell the aliens the truth, or let them continue believing the myth? Commander Jiwoo called a meeting to discuss this question. Some people think we should let aliens keep believing we are dangerous when annoyed, said Commander Jiwoo. It might protect us since we're new to space and surrounded by more advanced civilizations, but others say we should tell the truth. Added Hajin, hiding facts could cause problems later. When the truth comes out, Taejun thought about it for a long time, then spoke. We should tell a partial truth. He suggested we can explain that human annoyance doesn't give us magic powers, but we don't need to explain everything about the old explorers or their technology. Some mysteries should stay mysteries. While the leaders discussed what to do, Taejun was surprised to receive an invitation from the Galactic Consortium. The message asked him to visit the Nari homeworld as a cultural ambassador. He would be the first human to officially visit their planet. Commander Jiwoo was unsure. It's strange they want you specifically, Taejun. She said, maybe because you're the one who said the famous phrase. The invitation promised complete safety and comfort. For Taejun, the message said clearly, we will ensure nothing happens to cause Ambassador Taejun any irritation or annoyance during his stay. Hajin laughed when she read this. They are still afraid of what might happen if you get annoyed, she said. They really believe it. Minji continued her research, finding more files about Project Doorway. She discovered that the early explorers had taken many Earth items with them, including books, tools, and weapons. Some items were left behind on alien worlds as gifts or by accident. One file listed items that were never returned, including a pocket watch given to a friendly alien leader on a planet with 3 moons. The description matched the Nari homeworld. So somewhere on the Nari world, there might be a real pocket watch from Earth in the 1700s, said Taejun. That's amazing. The team realized that this old Earth technology scattered across alien worlds had helped create the myth of human powers. Many alien museums probably had Earth items they didn't understand displayed as magical objects as preparations began for Taejun's visit to the Nari world. Minji made one final discovery that changed everything. The fold engine technology had not been completely destroyed in 1798. Some parts and plans had been kept hidden by different governments. The file I found says that research continued in secret, very small programs with few people. Minji explained they never rebuilt the ships, but they kept studying the technology until the 1950s. Then everything disappears from records again. The team looked at each other, understanding growing between them. Maybe the technology was still out there somewhere. Maybe the secret had been kept even from modern space agencies. The hidden history of human space travel was bigger and stranger than they had imagined. Taejun looked out the window of the station at the stars, thinking about those early explorers and their incredible journeys. Now he would follow in their footsteps as the first Official human ambassador to an alien world, he wondered what other secrets waited to be discovered among the stars. The news about the hidden history of human space travel spread quickly among Earth leaders. They had long meetings to decide what to do. The discovery that humans had visited alien worlds centuries ago changed everything. Humans were not new to space after all. They had just forgotten their own past. Earth governments formed a special group called the First Contact Committee. Their job was to handle relations with aliens. Now that the truth was partly known, Hajin was made the head of the new alien language department. Her first job was to fix the translation problem that had caused all the trouble. Yejun was another important person in the committee. He was tall, with a serious face, and always wore a black uniform. He was in charge of security and military questions. He had different ideas about how to use the new information. "We should not tell aliens the full truth," Yejun said during a big meeting on Earth. "Let them keep believing that annoyed humans are dangerous. It will protect us. We are new in space again, surrounded by civilizations with better technology than ours." But Hajin disagreed strongly. Lying will only cause problems. She argued we should tell them the truth about human annoyance and build trust otherwise. Fear will stand between us and other species. The argument continued for many days with no clear answer. Meanwhile, Taejun was getting ready for his trip to the Nari homeworld. He would be the first official human ambassador to visit an alien planet. He was nervous about the big responsibility. Commander Jiwoo gave him special training for the trip. "You represent all humans now." "Taejun," she told him, "be careful what you say, especially about the old explorers. We still don't know the whole truth about them." Earth sent messages to the Nari explaining that human annoyance did not cause special powers, but they did not tell everything about Project Doorway or the old technology. The Nari seemed relieved, but still nervous. They promised to welcome Taejun with great honor. The day came for Taejun to leave the space station for his journey. A special Nari ship came to take him. It was bigger than the ones that had visited before, with smooth blue walls that seemed to flow like water inside. It was comfortable, with a special room made just for human needs. The Nari crew was very polite, but Taejun noticed they always kept some distance from him, never getting too close. When he asked why, the Nari captain named Sujin explained old habits are hard to break for many generations. "We have been taught to give humans space when possible, especially new humans we have not met before." The journey to the Nari homeworld took 7 days. Taejun spent the time learning more about Nari culture and language from Sujin. He learned that the Nari lived mostly underwater in their younger years, then moved to land as they got older. Their cities were built where land and water met, so all Nari could live together. Taejun also told Sujin about Earth and human culture, sharing music and stories. Sujin was especially interested in human emotions, asking many questions about how humans felt, anger, and annoyance. "Do all humans feel the same way?" when annoyed asked. "Sujin, do you all have the same power?" Taejun tried not to laugh as he explained humans have different personalities. Some get annoyed easily, others stay calm longer, but annoyance doesn't give us any special abilities. It just means we are frustrated or unhappy about something. Sujin seemed confused. "Our records show that human annoyance always comes before impressive actions or solutions. We have studied this pattern for centuries." Taejun thought about this and realized something: humans often did their best work when facing problems that annoyed them. It wasn't magic. It was just human determination. When humans got annoyed, they focused harder on solving problems. That's not a special power. Taejun explained, it's just how we respond to challenges. When something annoys us, we want to fix it, so we try harder. The Nari ship finally arrived at the Nari homeworld. It was beautiful, with 2 suns in the sky, one yellow and one orange. Large oceans covered most of the planet, with islands and thin continents where cities were built. The buildings were tall and curved like shells or waves, with many colors that changed with the light. A big welcome party waited for Taejun at the landing area. Important Nari leaders stood in a line wearing special decorations on their scales. Suljin, who had been the first Nari to speak to humans on the space station, was there now, wearing the marks of a high leader. "Welcome to our world, human Taejun," said Suljin, bowing slightly. "We are honored by your visit and promise that no annoyance will trouble you during your stay." The welcome ceremony was long and formal, with music and speeches. Taejun was given special gifts, including a beautiful scale-like decoration to wear on his clothes. Then he was taken to the place where he would stay, a tall building near the water with views of both land and sea. The next day, Taejun was taken to the Great History Museum of the Nari. This building was very old, made of stone. Not like the newer buildings, it held important items from Nari, history and objects from their contacts with other species. The museum guide showed Taejun many interesting things, but then took him to a special room with extra security. Inside was a display case with special lights around it. In the case was a small round metal object. Taejun recognized it immediately as an old pocket watch. "This is our most sacred object," said the guide with great respect. "The timekeeper of power from the first visitors. When humans consult this device and then express annoyance, great changes happen. Our oldest stories tell us this." Taejun looked closely at the watch. It was made of silver with designs of leaves around the edge. The glass was cracked and the hands had stopped at 3:27. On the back was writing in English that said, "To remember your friends from Earth, presented to Leader Corlin 1782. Taejun was amazed. This was real proof of the early explorers and their visits. The watch was given as a gift, but the Nari had misunderstood its purpose. They thought it was a special device that measured human annoyance. The guide continued with great seriousness. "We have studied this object for centuries, trying to understand its powers. Some of our scientists believe it measures when enough annoyance has built up in a human to release their abilities." Taejun wanted to explain that it just told time, but remembered his instructions not to reveal everything about the old explorers. Instead, he said, "This is a very important object to humans too. I am honored to see it here." That evening there was a formal dinner with many important Nari leaders. Taejun was the guest of honor, sitting at the main table with Suljin and other high officials. The food was strange but tasty, mostly sea plants, and small water animals cooked in colorful sauces. During the meal, a server carrying drinks tripped and spilled cold blue liquid all over Taejun's clothes. The room became completely silent, everyone watching him with wide eyes and tense bodies, their scales changing to warning colors of bright red and yellow. Taejun remembered his training and stayed calm. "It's fine, accidents happen," he said with a smile. "No problem at all." The relief in the room was so strong, Taejun could almost feel it like a wave. The Nari scales slowly changed back to normal colors. The server was quickly taken away and Taejun was given new clothes to wear. Later that night, Suljin came to speak with Taejun privately. "We must thank you for your patience with the accident." He said, "Our people have great fear of human annoyance. Our history tells us that when humans check their timekeeping device and then declare irritation, terrible powers are unleashed." Taejun realized then that the misunderstanding was deeper than anyone had thought. It was just about a phrase, it was about the whole pattern. Humans would check the time, get annoyed, and then take action to aliens watching. This seemed like a ritual that activated powers. "We have studied human history for many years," continued Suljin. "We know that your greatest achievements often follow periods of difficulty. Your species becomes stronger when facing problems that cause annoyance. Many alien observers have noted this pattern." Taejun nodded slowly, understanding. Growing in his mind, it was true in a way. Human progress often came from annoying problems that needed solving. The aliens had seen this pattern and misunderstood it as something magical, rather than the simple human drive to overcome challenges. The rest of Taejun's visit went well. He met many Nari, learned about their culture, and shared human knowledge. When he returned to the space station, he had much to report about what he had learned, especially about how deeply the misunderstanding about human annoyance had shaped alien views of humanity for centuries. 1 year passed since Taejun first said the words that started everything. The space station Harmony had changed a lot. In that time, it was now 3 times bigger, with new sections built specially for alien visitors. Representatives from 27 different alien species now lived and worked there alongside humans. Taejun had a new job. He was now the Director of Cross-Species Technical Cooperation. It was a fancy title that meant he helped humans and aliens work together on technology projects. His team included both humans and aliens who shared knowledge and built new things. The story of the human annoyance was now famous throughout the galaxy, but things had changed after many talks and meetings. The truth had been partly shared. Earth leaders decided to explain that human annoyance did not cause magical powers, but they did not tell everything about the old explorers or Project Doorway. Some secrets stayed secret. Humans explained that when they got annoyed, they often became more focused on solving problems. This was not magic, Just a normal human response, Taejun told aliens that the phrase now. Him getting annoyed usually meant a human was about to try harder to fix something. Not that they would use special powers. Most aliens accepted this explanation but still kept some of their old beliefs. They noticed that humans often did their best work when facing difficulties that annoyed them. There seemed to be a connection between human irritation and human achievement. The new understanding led to interesting cultural exchanges. Alien philosophers came to Earth to study human emotions, while human scientists went to alien worlds to learn about different ways of thinking. Alien art started showing human characters. Often with expressions of mild annoyance, these became popular across many worlds. Taejun worked closely with Doyun, the young Nari researcher, who at first shared the secret videos. They became good friends and partners on many projects. Doyun was now the official Nari representative on Harmony Station. He had been chosen because he understood humans better than other Nari. One day, Taejun and Doyun were working together on a difficult project, trying to make human and Nari environmental systems work together. It was challenging because Nari systems were designed for both water and air, while human systems were for air. Only they had been trying for hours, but nothing worked. Taejun sighed and rubbed his eyes. "This is becoming frustrating," he said quietly. Doyun tensed for a moment, then relaxed and smiled. "In the past, I would have left the room when you said that," he admitted. "Now I understand this is when humans become most creative." Taejun laughed. "You are learning when we get annoyed. We don't become dangerous, we become determined." As if to prove this point, Taejun suddenly noticed something they had missed. A small connection between the two systems that could solve their problem. He pointed it out to Doyun, and within minutes, they had the systems working together. "See," said Taejun, "annoyance helped me focus and find the solution." Doyun nodded thoughtfully. "I have noticed this pattern in working with humans. You often find your best ideas when things are difficult. It is not magic, but it is special in its own way." That evening, Commander Jiwoo, now Admiral Jiwoo, held a celebration for the successful project. Many humans and aliens gathered in the station's main hall, which had been decorated with symbols from all the different species. Admiral Jiwoo made a speech and raised a glass to toast the achievement to human annoyance and alien patience. She said, "May they continue to complement each other." Everyone laughed and repeated the toast. It became something of a saying on the station. Whenever humans and aliens completed a project together, they would say it. The phrase became so popular that it was added to the official station motto, which was written in many languages on a big sign at the entrance. Visitors to the station would see it when they first arrived and understand that this was a place where different species worked together and respected each other's ways. Taejun often thought about how strange it was that his simple words had changed so much. A small moment of frustration while fixing an air system had led to the discovery of Earth's hidden space history and new understanding between species. The old videos of early explorers were now kept in a special museum on Earth where people could learn about Project Doorway and the forgotten first contacts. Earth leaders had decided to share part of the story with the public, keeping only the most sensitive details secret. The museum was always full of visitors, human and alien. Taejun visited the museum with Doyun one day, showing him the displays about human history and the early explorers. There was a special exhibit about the pocket watch that was still kept on the Nari homeworld. It showed pictures of the watch and explained how it had been misunderstood as a power measuring device for centuries. "That watch is still our most sacred object," said Doyun. "Even though we now know it just tells time, it remains important. As the first gift between our worlds." Minji was there too. She had become the chief historian for alien relations. She spent her time studying both human and alien historical records. Looking for more connections between the species, she had found evidence that the early explorers had visited more worlds than first thought, possibly as many as 15 different planets. "Do you think we'll ever find out what really happened to Project Doorway?" asked Taejun as they looked at the displays. "Some parts are still missing from the story." Minji smiled mysteriously. "I have new leads," she said. "Some files suggest that research continued in secret until at least 1985. The technology may still exist somewhere." The idea was exciting but also a little scary. If the fold engine technology still existed somewhere, who had it and why had they kept it hidden for so long? These questions remained unanswered. As the months passed, More alien species joined the Harmony Station community, each bringing their own culture and knowledge. There were some problems and misunderstandings, of course, but the humans and aliens always found ways to work them out. One interesting change was in how aliens responded when humans said they were annoyed in the past. This would cause fear and retreat. Now it caused interest and attention. Aliens had learned that this was often when humans had their best ideas. They no longer ran away. Instead, they watched closely to see what would happen next. Human annoyance had transformed from something to fear into something to respect. Aliens came to understand that this emotion often led to innovation and problem-solving. They still gave humans some extra space when they expressed frustration, but it was out of consideration. Not fear. June found this change very satisfying. It showed real progress in how species understood each other. He still sometimes thought about those mysterious early explorers who had first created the myth of dangerous, annoyed humans. He wondered what they would think if they could see how their actions had shaped relations between species for centuries. One day, a new alien ship arrived at the station. It was from a species no one had met before. They were called the Miri, and looked like tall plants with blue leaves. They moved slowly and spoke in low, humming sounds when translated. Their first message was surprising. "We have watched your station for some time," they said, "learning how different species work together. We are interested in joining, especially in working with humans. We have heard that human annoyance produces remarkable solutions to problems." June welcomed them to the station, explaining that human emotions were just normal feelings, not special powers. The Miri seemed to understand better than some other species had. "We do not think it is magic," said the Miri leader. "We think it is a useful trait to face problems with determination when they become difficult. That is an approach we value." The humans and Miri quickly became good partners, working on environmental projects. Together, the Miri had special knowledge of plant systems that helped improve the station's air quality. At a meeting to celebrate this new cooperation, Admiral Jiwoo made another toast to finding friends among the stars, she said, and to learning from our differences. June looked around the room, seeing humans and many kinds of aliens all working together. He thought about how a small misunderstanding had opened the door to all of this in a strange way. The myth of dangerous, annoyed humans had helped bring the species together. Sometimes, he still said, "Now I'm getting annoyed when working on difficult problems." But now, instead of causing fear, it brought help and support from his alien friends. They had learned that human annoyance was not something to fear, but a sign that a solution might soon be found. What aliens had once seen as a threat, they now recognized as perhaps humanity's greatest strength: the ability to channel frustration into determination, to transform annoyance into achievement, and to keep working on problems that seemed impossible until they were solved.